First of all, I want to thank you all for coming to this meeting. I know your time is very valuable, so we'll try to be as concise and clear as possible. So today, our team, consisting of myself, Yannick, to my right, Julian, to my left, Selena, Christian, to my left, Selena, and Julian, we're tasked with determining and evaluating whether going into the international student market segment is a viable option for us. So today, we're going to walk you through our analysis, recommendation, and implementation. Firstly, our current situation. Real estate market in Canada right now is slowing, which means that with less people moving, demand for our product is going to decrease. So we have to take that into consideration. We have 9 full functioning service locations and 6 satellite locations, and we are strongly driven by values towards our customer. So when we make decisions and implement, we want to keep this in mind because this is what made our company. And we also have strong financial capabilities, which means that we have opportunity to do a lot to progress and grow Beast Box in a good way. After our thorough analysis, we have decided that going into the international student market is not a viable option. What we would recommend is that you focus more on residential and commercial customers, but in big cities such as Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, or Ottawa, because this is where the big companies will be at, and this is where we'll get the most brand awareness and brand recognition. We have identified our main problems. We are in a mature industry, which means that we have a lot of competition with firms which have been there for a long time. For example, U-Haul, which is a big company and has a lot of competitive advantages. Our market reach right now is also limited, which means that our customers don't know the full scope of the products that we are providing, so we have to find a way to change this. And as mentioned before, slowly real estate market. But all these are just secondary issues, and our primary issue is how can we differentiate our market strategy to discover new growth opportunities, which means how can we differentiate from our competitors to make our customers choose us over them. And now Julian's going to go through our analysis.
Thank you, Yannick. I just want to touch on some internal strengths and weaknesses of our company. So first of all, we have a very strong people-driven culture, and what that means is we care a lot about our employees and as well as our customer. We're the leading portable storage provider right now in the industry, and we cater to both residential and commercial customers. And as previously mentioned, we have strong financial situated backings, which means there's a lot of opportunities that we can capitalize on. One of the things that we can improve on is probably the low customer awareness. Right now, not a lot of people are fully aware of the full service offerings that we offer them, and therefore they might not reach out because of that. We also have the smallest container that we have is 8 feet by 7 feet 6, and to some customers, this might still be too big for them, and therefore that might hinder them from reaching out to us if they do need a smaller containers. Some opportunities that we capitalize on right now, the population of Canada is increasing, which means that there is potential for more home sales in the near futures. People are moving to bigger cities, urbanization trends, and this can be due to higher paying jobs, more activities to do. And this industry also has relatively high barriers to entry. So due to high leasing cost of land and containers, it's relatively hard for newcomers to come into this industry, and thus making opportunities for us. Some of the threats, obviously we have an election on Monday, so a lot of political uncertainty depending on who gets elected. Business practice might change around in Canada. And we also have the slowing real estate market, as previously mentioned. Although we put it as a threat, this actually can also be an opportunity, just because the slowing real estate market affects everybody, and that can also wipe our competition if they're not as strongly backed financially as we are right now. Our business model, again, I just really want to emphasize on our emphasis on people culture, really caters to our employees and the customers. We have options for our customer by providing them with portable storage, whether they want to be at their location or our location for a cheaper price. We're also very flexible with, to cater to people who like the convenience of, not being rushed. And right now, due to our 19 locations, we have relatively strong national presence across Canada. So who are we really trying to target? So our main target audience would be a split between residential and commercial, a 40 to 60 split. For residential, we want to be focusing on the single-family homeowners who has a do-it-yourself mentality. They like the flexibility and the convenience of having the containers at their house. And these are the people that typically have between $100,000 to $200,000 of income. And for commercial customers who want to be targeting construction, retail, and restoration industries, these are the type of customers that look for services with great price, knowing that their goods are secure, and that we have a lot of available containers for them if they need it. I just want to touch on the global moving trends right now in the world. As you can see, between 1950 to 2020, which is about where we are right now, you can see that the people living in the urban areas is increasing exponentially, whereas the people living in the rural area, the growth has stagnated quite a bit since the 2000s, and is projected to continue that way until 2050. However, the urban growth is just going to keep growing and growing. For the Canadian cities in Canada, I just want to touch on, since 2000, the population of, let's say, Toronto has increased about 50% since 2000 to 2020, and is projected to increase up to around 50% by 2035. And these trends are relatively consistent across all big cities in Canada, and this also can be due to various reasons: higher paying jobs, more activities to do in the bigger cities, and just trying to get away from, I guess, their hometown. So what I really want you to take away from this is, again, strong emphasis on our people culture, and this is what we want to be basing our analysis and recommendation on. We want to be targeting those people in between the $100,000 to $200,000 of income, and we want to be capitalizing on this urbanization trend, as people will be moving to and from big cities a lot more often in the future. We estimate the market cap for this for this market in Canada is between $40 to $80 billion right now. So what are our options? So we can either go with marketing ourselves to the international student market, which we cater to their summer needs. We can potentially offer a lower pricing model, which can allow us to directly compete with our competitions, such as U-Haul, or we can expand to bigger cities. So I'm just going to touch on the first option. So international students, we estimate that this market will have a potential revenue of $63,000. So some really good things about this market is that we're already very involved in Kelowna with the MSA, UBC, JDC West, and the community. So we have relatively low customer acquisition costs. However, we realize that these customers are just seasonal customers who are looking to store their stuff from May to August. And the market size for this market is relatively small as well, and there's not a lot of room for expansion. Alternative two is that we can offer a lower pricing model. This way, we can attract more customers who's a bit more price sensitive. They don't care about the convenience, they just want a cheaper model. We can also compete directly with U-Haul this way, which can potentially increase our market share as we're exposing our company to a larger variety of clients. However, we think that this can be conflicting with our values, our people values especially, as we shift away from customer service driven to focusing on profit margin and making sure that we're still generating a positive margin. That might take away our focus on delivering that exceptional customer service. And last but not least, we can have the option of offering full service store in the Greater Vancouver area, Ottawa, Toronto, and Montreal. This way, we have a better national presence across all big cities across Canada. These big cities all overall have higher incomes family, which is the target audience that we're trying to target. We estimate the gross profit margin for the Greater Vancouver area in the first year to be around $750,000. Some of the costs that comes with it is we realize that it does come with high initial cost, and there's also a decent amount of competition already existing there, so that's just something to keep in mind. Someone ask this question? Sorry.
So with all these alternatives being viable options, we need to dig deeper to figure out which option is the best fit for Big Steel Box. So first off, we would love to emphasize that this needs to be in alignment with our values. That's why we rated this the highest in proportion to our decision criteria, because we want to emphasize that we are there for the customers, we care for them, and that we are people-driven. Next, in our decision criteria, we have the market reach. How far across Canada can we expand and just build brand awareness? And then lastly, we'd like to look at the range of services provided. So when taking into account everything, we come to the logical conclusion that expansion is the best course of action for Big Steel Box. So what will this actually look like? So for the first year, 2020 to 2021, we would like to look for a location in the Richmond area. We would like to start off with Vancouver because we already have a strong customer base, as we do have locations in Coquitlam and also in Abbotsford. But we'd like to set up a location in Richmond as well, because that is where the majority of the population in the Vancouver area is. To the south, there's Surrey, which has a huge population. Just north is downtown Vancouver. So there is an overwhelming population in the Richmond area. While we're looking for that location, we'd like to acquire a bank loan. We do understand that we do have strong financial backing, but it's always nice to have that extra padding of security in case this location is not as profitable in the first couple years as we had hoped. So hiring employees for this location, although we do need well-trained, skilled employees with experience in customer service, we do need employees that align with our values and that share the same core values as Big Steel Box. And lastly, for the last half of the year, we like to provide supplemental marketing to potential customers, like setting up billboards or having radio ads, just so we really get that brand awareness out there. So from 2021 to 2023, we'd like to open up a full-service location in Ottawa. Now, since this is further west than any of our locations to date, this will take a little bit longer, as we need to make sure that this customer base is ready to be capitalized on. So we're estimating that this will take around a year and a half to implement. So next, we need to make sure that the enterprise resource planning platform is up to date for this expansion, that the estimated time arrivals of the boxes, all of the tracking is current and ready to be implemented. So we will be working on this throughout the 2 years. And lastly, we'll develop customer feedback surveys, so we do get real-time customer feedback, and we'd like to set up incentives such as a trip for 2 or gift cards to incentivize customers to fill these surveys and provide us with much needed information.
After we've opened 2 full-service stores in Greater Vancouver and in Ottawa, we'd like to open another in Toronto, the largest city in Canada with the highest median income. This fits into our target audience of the residential clients with a median income of $100,000 per year. We'd also like to expand further east into Montreal. Our goal here really is to have as many locations across the country as possible, lowering the costs and efforts needed for our customers when it comes to transporting their belongings across the country. Throughout this time, we also expect for our customer base to have expanded rapidly, and we'd like to ensure that we are not expanding our business at the expense of our customer service, as it is the core value of our business and what distinguishes us from our competitors, and we find that extremely important. And lastly, although we're not focusing on this now, we would like to reevaluate having university students across the nation as our next target market, as we do find it a low-cost option, making it viable. So how will we measure our progress throughout this time period? For the short term, we will ensure that there is a substantial growth in our market base, especially in the Richmond, Greater Vancouver area. For the midterm, we will ensure that there aren't any delays in the new full-service store opening in Ottawa, as well as accessibility to our enterprise resource planning platform for all our clients. And in the long term, we want to make sure that there is both the presence and recognition of our brand across the country. While we have carefully planned for the next few years, we are aware that there still may be some risks that we need to account for. Firstly, in the short term, as we are expanding into larger cities, there's a high chance that we will deal with the issue of the large storage boxes and vehicles not fitting into the narrower driveways. And for this, we would be offering the option of having smaller storage containers for our clients to transport between their homes and the nearest larger vehicles. For the midterm, there is a chance that the enterprise resource planning platform does not meet the standards of our clients. And in this case, we would need to make any adjustments necessary and test it at a smaller location, for instance, Salmon Arm. This way, in the case that there are any issues that arise, we would be able to deal with them more easily, as opposed to if we were testing this with a larger customer base. Lastly, as we are expanding into larger cities, an issue that we might come across is that people may not have the time or be willing to load and transport their belongings on their own. And to deal with this, we may be offering to provide those services for them. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation, and we'd like to open the floor to our judges.
Okay, I've got a question for you. I think it was 2024. You said you were going to reevaluate whether students were a viable market. Between today and then, what is going to change about the students or the business that makes students now a viable option?
So right now, we feel that the best way to grow is not to go for students, because the firm is not big enough and hasn't reached full potential in the markets of residential and commercial customers. But in the long term, when we have already established the businesses in the big cities, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and all, we feel that maybe we can reevaluate the student and go for a more niche market. Right now, our company needs to grow bigger and have get a greater customer base, build brand recognition, and then it can go to students more easily.
Can I just ask a further question about the students? You mentioned you thought the revenue opportunity was $63,000. It was on one of your slides in here. Was that just a Kelowna number or a Canadian number?
That is just a Kelowna number.
Just a Kelowna number, so a Canadian number would be significantly bigger, I guess.
Yes, but as of right now, we understand that the location that we're currently offering, we're not covering where most of these international students come from. They go to bigger cities, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and these are where the big schools are. They're just not, we just don't see the opportunities or the market potential for these smaller cities that Big City Box currently operates in. And right now, the feasible and the market cap is just Toronto.
Did you only consider international students, or what about students that aren't from, say, from Kelowna, coming from Saskatoon, for example, or other locations? So it's just international you considered, or just non-Kelowna based?
Right. So we actually did an estimate, and we think that for international students, it fits better in terms of description because these are the students that come from abroad. They come here and they don't have anywhere to put their stuff. Whereas, so that's why they need the storage in the summer.
Right.
These students that move from Calgary, Saskatoon, or Vancouver for that matter, just from personal experience, I know that they typically have a car, they have the transportation, or their family that is willing to go and take their stuff back.
Okay.
And a lot of these students also rent furnished, so it's just something that we need to keep in mind, is do they really need personal?
Okay.
So in your estimate, at a place like UBCO, like roughly if we were to target the university student group, out of 100%, how many would qualify to even approach in
Right.
your assumptions?
So you just want to get you this that?
So, so the number of international students are 15% at UBCO. We have a student base of 12,000, and the realistic percentage of the market that would use storage in the summer would be around 5%. So, yes. So, being the price for summer storage being an average of $700 for a 20-foot container, this would come out to $63,000. So this is where the $63,000 and yes, the 5% of the market, because many international students stay during the summer or they don't lease their apartments, so that everything's still, all of their equipment is still there.
One of the issues you raised in your presentation was the brand awareness of Big Steel Box, but I didn't see a solution to overcome that obstacle. Do you guys have any recommendations for how we overcome the brand awareness issue that we're facing?
So for the brand awareness issues, we think that the solution that we brought up, which is to expand across major cities, is actually a pretty full solution. As in, if you're looking to move to, let's say, Vancouver to Toronto, but right now we don't have a location in Toronto, chances are, even if we offer to cater that, that move from Vancouver to Toronto, it might be more expensive for us because our store is not there. And when it's more expensive, we typically have to charge more customers more. And what we think is that by having locations across these big major cities, it will make the move more convenient for the customers at a lower pricing point. And therefore, so we can really just focus on delivering that customer service. And once they receive that customer service that we deliver, the marketing behind it is that we will trust that they will endorse our company through word of mouth to their friends who might be moving as well. As in, we think that would be a much longer term solution, which can build a more loyal and stronger customer base, so that we have a strong customer loyalty to combat, like in terms, if there was a real estate slowdown, this customer has still to stay with us.
Can I ask, you spoke a lot about urbanization. When you're talking about urbanization, are you purely talking about people moving from rural environments to city environments, or are you talking about increase in population density within urban environments? I know a lot of the cities across Canada are facing problems with urban sprawl, and so we're trying to condense that, we're trying to pack more people into less space to better serve the cities and the businesses in those cities. Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about rural to urban?
Canada is a country where there is a lot of high rates of immigration, and that is growing. So we do plan on providing services for a lot of people who are moving towards larger cities. However, there are still trends of larger families moving away from larger cities to more rural areas, and so we would also be targeting more and more of those cities as well.
I have a question. You guys talk about quite a few phases of geographic expansions. You guys talk about improving the ERP. Like, do you guys have like some sort of projections that kind of show us what's the impact of this on like what's my revenue growth going to be, or what type of end revenue am I looking at? What's the investment, or what's this going to cost us?
Yeah, sure. And we did a revenue projection for, do you mind moving back a little bit? Okay. So we did a revenue forecast for the Richmond area of Greater Vancouver. This is our first location that we want to offer, just because we have locations around that to support the operations if needed be. We did a fair market value of a 9-acre lease. We want to be leasing this space. We do not want to be buying this land, as we're entering a new market with a lot of competitions. By leasing, we have lower barriers of exit if we need to. And we estimate our operating expense and employee costs and total expense to be $2.7 million. For the revenue, we look at the total amount of sales between residential and condo sales. Because every time there's a sales, there's a very high chance that these people need help moving their stuff out of their houses into a new one. So we estimate that the total cost of revenue generated to us per move would be around $1,500 per person. And just from looking at that, we estimate that at around 1% market, like if we can capture 1% market share, and that's how we got to $3.47 million, which gives us around $755,000 in profit.
If you're going to lease 9 acres of land, how do you come up with an interest component to a lease?
Right. We do realize that because of the first year operations, there's a lot of things that we need to take into account, such as buying new containers, buying new equipment to move these containers. These would go into our balance sheet, obviously, but due to we think that just having that bank loan to provide better cash flow, we believe that that will allow us to shift our focus away from just focusing on the little profit margin, and instead we can focus more on the customers and our employees, which is really what our values are.
The 1,500 per month, is that 1,500 containers on rent per month?
So it's supposed to take 1,500 per container.
1,500.
As in moving costs. We're not taking into account of leasing this per month per se. These are just our estimated how much in total a move from one home to another would be. So it's
Okay, so this is a moving estimate, as
Right.
anything else, not renting to commercial customers or.
You guys can finish up your questions, then you have 10 minutes for feedback.
And just want to touch on that as well, if that's okay. We do realize that in bigger cities, there's going to be a decrease in demand for leasing this space, as people do have smaller driveway. People live in condos, which means that it's not a very viable option for them to lease this for a long period of time. So that's why we think that we will have a much bigger revenue in terms of moving costs.